Welcome back to the Green Beans Go channel. It's your host, me, here for our Week 8 spreads and totals picks. That font is horrible. That does not look like an 8. That looks like a noose. And after last week, no, I'm not going to say that. But I will tell you that the NFL is hard to beat. I'm never going to force picks. Please trust yourself. If you want to also trust me, make sure you feel good about the pick as well. There's nothing worse than knowing a pick is bad but tailing it because somebody on the internet said to. So trust yourselves. Here are some people who trusted themselves last week. Here are some of your Estramos bestest picks that I found in the comments. Michael Jordan, 3290, said Ravens minus 3.5 is my favorite bet this week. I also like Texans plus 2.5. He cashed both of those. He gave us two Estramos bestest, and he hit them both. Mr. Soul for Show said Denver minus 2.5. Saints are cooked. He was very correct about that. And DeBears Forever Ha said, give me Bills minus 9. No way Titans score more than 17. He cashed both of those little wagers there. Caleb Mallory, 2882, says Saquon Barkley anytime TD. That hit. And Aaron Lee said Illinois over Michigan, which I realize is a college bet, but I did not say the extra most bestest pick had to be for the NFL, although that was the assumption. But hey, Illinois did beat Michigan. So these were your winners from last week. Make sure you're commenting below your favorite pick. And I guess we're opening it up to any picks because that's what we did last week and it worked out. So let's go ahead and look at last week again, guys. It wasn't fantastic in our green and pink. 1 and 3, which is horrible. I may just need to color all these red because when I do so, red and yellow totals went 10 and 5. That's great. These went 6 and 5. That's great. I'm winning overall. I just can't hit these darn high confidence plays. So if you look down here, 58 and 60 on our red plays, 57 and 55 on our yellow plays, and then you factor in my confident picks and it drops our averages down. So right now we are literally at the juice. We are either breaking even or just losing through 7 weeks of the season. So not horrible, but I would like to be better. And I would especially like to be better at our extra most bestest picks. It's my worst category. Extra most worstest is what it's called from now on. Nobody's on a bye this week. So we have 16 games. Let's talk about them. Thursday, tomorrow, is Minnesota and LA. My line was the Vikings minus 4.5 and 44.5. And we have some pretty big differences with what Vegas says. Vikings are 2.5 point road favorites, and the total is set at 48.5. I like the under, and I like the Vikings to cover. I just think that the Rams are not the Lions. Yes, the Vikings were tested last week against a team that I believe is Super Bowl caliber. I don't think the Rams are even close to that. However, they are getting some weapons back in Cooper Kupp, so watch out for that. But still, I like the under, and I like the Vikings to cover. Sunday at 1 o'clock, nobody's in London, not even the Jags. The Jags are home here, and they're playing the Packers, which is probably one of the worst matchups they could have after being in a different time zone for 2 weeks and then having to come home and readjust. I think the Packers would be talked about more if it were not for the Lions and it weren't for the Vikings, two teams in their division. The Packers are good, and I think they're significantly better than the Jaguars. So I like the Packers to cover 4.5, and I like the under 49.5. Again, I think the Jaguars will come home. And although they did get some momentum last week against the Patriots, I think they will be slower to everything this week just because they're human. And that's got to be tough on anybody. Jet lag, if you will. Sunday at 1 o'clock, I'm shocked at this line. This is my biggest discrepancy. I'm off by 5 points to Vegas. 5.5 points to Vegas. I think the Cardinals should be road favorites against Miami. Tua is back. And guess what? I don't care. I don't think this team's problems were solely on the quarterback. And I don't think Tua moves the needle. Even though he's coming back, even though he's the starter, yes, I don't think that he is going to take this, dare I say, awful team to a winning team. So this is crazy to me. Give me the Cardinals plus 3 as an extra most bestest pick on the road, and the under 46.5. The Cardinals have played a much tougher schedule. They've played much tougher opponents, and the Dolphins. I don't care if Tom Brady unretires and comes back. I think this game is favors the Cardinals more. Sunday at 1 is a game. Good golly gracious, this is all around gross. I don't want to talk about it. I would take the Patriots plus 7, and I would take the under. I had the Jets as 6-point favorites, and the total almost a field goal off at 38.5. I mean, if the Jets can't do anything this game, There you have it. All right. Ravens and Cleveland. I had this at 9.5 and 42.5. Very close on the total. Exactly right on the spread. I would lean Ravens at that 9.5 number. This is a short week and a possible letdown spot. So if you want to kind of buy into those principles, maybe take the Browns plus 9.5. Jameis Winston is starting. We know what happened to Deshaun Watson. So, I don't know. Nick Chubb's back. That can't be bad for them. So again, some things may lead you to believe that Browns plus 9.5 is the right side. That's why it's red. I don't have confidence in the spread, but again, I think both of these defenses could, do enough to keep the total low, and the Ravens should try to just run the ball. Clock ticks, fewer points. All right, Sunday at 1 again, we have the Eagles and the Bengals. Is this the best game of the week, or am I living in the past? 2 years ago, this would have been prime time. Everybody sets their calendar, is on their couch watching this one. But this year, both of these teams are kind of underperforming. I thought the Bengals should be 1.5 point favorites. They're closer to 3. So give me the Eagles plus 3. And my total is pretty close at 47.5. Give me the under 48. I do think the Bengals should do well to feast on the soft Eagles secondary with the talent that they have. However, I do think the Eagles have enough to keep pace. And I think since both teams know their weaknesses are defensive, both of these defenses are going to be ready. So that's why I like the under. I know it's kind of counterintuitive. It could go over. It's not a high confident pick, but I do think the Eagles can run enough in this game to wear them down and to win the game. But I like them plus 3 in case they can't win. Sunday at 1, blah, 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 divisional game, blah, blah, blah. I know I talk about divisional games a lot and how wonky they can be. I think the Colts are 3.5 point underdogs in this game. Vegas is giving 5.5. I'll take the 5.5, and I'll take the under 46.5. But again, no confidence in either. Anything could happen in this. I do expect the Texans to win, but I think the Colts could do a sneaky backdoor cover. Titans and Lions. I had it at 9.5, 45.5. I was exactly correct on the total, but the Titans are getting 1.5 extra points, plus 11. Plus 11 in the NFL is a lot of points. It's all about will the Lions come in sleeping. I don't think they will, but they could. I think Rudolph will still start, and he could maybe get some points up. Hopkins is gone. What good is he? He had 1 target last week. If you have a guy like DeAndre Hopkins on your team and you're targeting him 1 time, you deserve to lose. Okay? Force him the ball. He can catch in contested areas. It's bizarre. Pollard, I think, is good to go. Spears should be back. They get some weapons. They hopefully can find some balance. So I like a last-second cover of that plus 11. Sunday at 1 again. Early games are popping. A lot of them. Falcons, Buccaneers, another divisional game. The Falcons are a roller coaster team. They play games close. They play games tight. And this is a matchup we saw a couple weeks ago. Atlanta came out on top. I had them as 2.5 point favorites with the total at 44.5. I had the spread exactly right. It is 2.5. I would take the Buccaneers in a sneaky one. Now, will this tick up to 3 over that key number? Possibly. So if you want to wait, that's fine. I would probably wait. Evans and Godwin are not playing. Baker's 2 favorite targets. I hope they can rebound and recover. I would take the under, but again, not a ton of confidence in either of those picks. Probably one I would stay away from. Moving on to 4 o'clock, Saints and Chargers. I think going on the road to the West Coast, taking a trip, may help the Saints just kind of clear their minds a little bit. And I had it at 5.5. The Chargers look bad on Monday night, and I think that's kind of how they are. They don't have firepower on offense. Their defense is solid. So give me the Saints to cover in a close, ugly game. Give me the under 39.5. It might be 7-0. That's how much I hate even thinking about watching this game. Forget the Eagles and the Bengals. This is probably the best game of the week. Bills and Seahawks. I had the total right. I had the spread right. The total quite wrong. Significantly wrong. 5 points off. I think both of these teams are some of the better offenses in the league, most dynamic, and the defenses aren't amazing. So let's take the over 46.5 in a high confidence play, and I'll take Seattle at home 3.5. I may go to regret that, but they are getting healthier on both sides of the ball. So hopefully that bodes well for them. It's a long trip across the country for the Bills. These would be my plays. Okay, full disclosure. After I set the line, I remembered that Jaden Daniels was hurt. So I made this line and then was like, oh, heck, Jaden Daniels isn't playing. So this 0.5 is probably wrong. 47.5 is probably wrong because of my expectation of the quarterback play on the Commanders' side. Mariota looked good, but he looked good against who did they even play last week? Carolina. So, I would look good against Carolina. So, I mean, let's just keep it all in perspective here. I don't think Mariota is Jaden Daniels, but he's experienced. So hopefully he can come in and get him a few wins while the ribs of Jaden Daniels heals. I still like the Commanders +2, and I love the over, 43.5. I'm not sold on the Bears. Look at the Bears' schedule. The teams they beat are bad teams. And if you watch my rankings videos, they're teams that are consistently in wins the draft category, like the worst of the worst. The teams they lose to are good teams or even decent teams or category teams. So, prove it to me here, Bears. And if you do, I'll probably say they didn't have Jaden Daniels. It'd be different. I'll make an excuse, but I like the over. Kansas City and the Raiders, another green high-confidence play is the under. I have this total at 35.5. I couldn't tell you 5 offensive players for the Raiders. That's a lie. I could. But, Minshew's probably starting back up. They lose Adams. Just kind of an ugly all-around team. And the Chiefs have one of the better defenses in the league. And guess what? They get DeAndre Hopkins. Rich get richer. I like a -9.5 with a little confidence, if any. And I like the under 41.5 in high confidence. It was 6 points off what I projected the line to be. Panthers and Broncos. Here it is, baby. My extra most bestest. Let's see, what button would be best for this? Drum roll. Pick of the week. We got Denver Broncos and Carolina Panthers. I like the Panthers +9.5. I had it closer to 6.5. And I had the total at 35.5. It's 43.5, which feels crazy. And I know it's because the Panthers defense is so bad, but Denver's offense isn't good. I mean, they won't have to be good in this game. They can run the ball. They can put up 20 points and probably still win. So I'm, a 20-14 type game. We clear both of these. That's my prediction. That's what I like. There's my extra most bestest. Sunday Night Football. I get it, guys. I swore off the Cowboys. I said I was done with them. I said I've never taken them again. Well, they had a bye week, and I've come back around. 49ers are just injured. I saw somebody call them the 49 IRs, which is pretty funny. Not my joke. Credit to whoever I saw. I think it was on Reddit that I saw that. What are they going to do? I don't know. I think the Niners could still win this game, but I had it at 3.5. It's 4.5. So give me that key number and a half of 4.5 for the Cowboys. I had it at 47. It's 46. I'll take the over, but I don't love it. So that's how I feel about Sunday night. And lastly, Monday night, we have the Steelers in prime time again. And is Russ back? Has Russ cooked? Is he actively cooking? I don't know. -6.5 would be my play. I had the spread exactly right. And the total I was high on again. So I'll take the over, 36.5. I like both of those, but I like the total more so than the spread. All right. Again, drum roll please, or curtains. Maybe we'll do curtains this time. That feels pretty good. And action. Yes, of course. Here are my 2 extra most bestest picks of the week. We have Cardinals +3 on the road and Broncos Panthers under 43.5. Please drop your extra most bestest pick in the comments so that we can celebrate you next week like we did Michael Jordan and Zoe for Show and Caleb Mallory and Aaron Lee and the Bears forever. All right. Thank you guys for coming by. Tomorrow we do touchdowns, and I got some ideas, man. Like I had to sit down and I had to write out all my ideas for videos. I have like 6, guys. And with my ADHD anxious brain, it's like, how do I make 6 videos in one day, right? And that's not healthy. That's not good. So then my ADHD kicks in and it's like, well, we're not going to make any. And that's not good. So I'll be fine. We'll figure it out, but just know there are videos coming. I got to incorporate NBA somehow. I want to do first basket content, and I don't have the coding ability to do that, and I just we're going to figure it out. It's about the journey, not about the destination, or whatever they tell you. All right, we'll see you next time.